Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion with Uncle German, the solo cast where we dive deep into the stories that shape our world, the triumphs, the failures, and the hard truths that we can't ignore. I am your solo host, Uncle German, and today marks episode 7. We are tackling a topic that's raw, urgent, and far too common: rape in Botswana. Specifically, we will unpack the Mojadigo case, a story that didn't just break headlines, but exposed cracks in trust for our society, especially when authority figures abuse their power. If you are a survivor, a loved one, or just someone exhausted by the statistics, this one is for you. Stick around for the next few minutes of reflection, rage, and real lessons learned. In January 2024, Hoitse Kgosi Mojadigo, a 35-year-old pastor at Divine Anointing Church International, was charged with rape. He was accused of having sex with a young girl without consent, violating Section 141 of the Penal Code. The Penal Code Amendment Act of 2021, which came into effect on September 15, 2023, is the most significant recent update to Botswana's penal code. Focusing on increasing penalties for sexual offenses, it includes a minimum of 20 years and a maximum of life imprisonment for rape. It also enhances provisions for victim compensation and criminalizes the making of false allegations of sexual offenses. It also introduced a sex offenders registry, which we don't know whether it has been implemented or not. Section 141 of the Penal Code reads, and I quote, "Any person who has unlawful carnal knowledge of another person, or who causes the penetration of a sexual organ or instrument or whatever nature into the person of another for the purposes of sexual gratification, or who causes the penetration of another person's sexual organ into his or her person without the consent of such other person, or with such person's consent if the consent is obtained by force or means of threats or intimidation of any kind, by fear of bodily harm, or by means of false pretenses as to the nature of the act, or in the case of a married person, by personating that person's spouse, is guilty of the offense termed rape." End of quote. Zooming back into the Mojadigo case, prosecutors charged him with multiple counts of rape and defilement, which is unlawful carnal knowledge with a person under the age of 18. Mojadigo, a man of the cloth trusted by his congregation, now faces 5 counts in total: 1 defilement and 4 rape charges. The rape charge in question, now let's deal with that one. The rape case hits Muchudi Magistrate Court under Principal Magistrate Queen Mwanga. Bail was initially granted in July 2024 with very strict conditions: 5,000 recognizance, 2 sureties, monthly police check-ins, and a total ban on church activities to avoid witness tampering. But Mojadigo violated it, communicating with witnesses, so the bail was revoked and he was remanded from November 2024. Defense attorney Ulihile Mantswe pushes back hard, arguing the charges are duplicitous, multiple counts staking unfair odds for conviction, and he seeks a High Court merger. Trial drags on, set for July and then August 2025. Fast forward to October 2025, a twist in the tale. The adult rape charge withdrawn. The complainant and her mother stopped cooperating with court. No testimony, no cross-examination, no closure. End of the case. But the other 4 counts stick, backed by medical reports and 11 more witnesses. Early November 2025, Mojadigo is convicted of rape and gets sentenced to 20 years in prison. Prosecutors hammer home he abused his pastoral power over a vulnerable victim of gang rape for that matter. Mojadigo remained silent in mitigation, only pleading for time-served credit. This saga isn't just one man's fall. It's a spotlight on how predators hide in plain sight and why victims sometimes vanish from the whole process. Let's zoom out a bit because Mojadigo's story echoes across Botswana's endless struggle with gender-based violence. We are talking some of the world's highest rape rates, 92 per 100,000 people, topping global lists, with over 67% of women facing physical or sexual abuse. And that is double the worldwide average. In just 2 weeks of 2025, 93 rapes were reported, alongside 10 women murdered in GBV related cases. During the 2024 festive season, 87 cases were reported in 18 days, averaging 5 victims a day. Child cases are alarming. In 2020, we had 1,825 cases, and then by 2022, we climbed to 2,059. And that's the reported cases. Underreporting is rampant due to stigma, family pressure, and fear. Perpetrators are often known: family, neighbors, or like Mojadigo, authority figures. False accusations do happen, sometimes escalating to tragedy, like murders post false reports, but they risk silencing real victims. In courts, delays plague, backlogs from COVID times, forensic gaps, and victim dropouts like Mojadigo's withdrawn charge. No wonder 37% of women report lifetime GBV as per the 2018 National Relationship Study, and that's just what's spoken. The system is trained, but cases like this scream. Predators thrive on silence. Justice falters without support. So, what rises from Mojadigo's ashes? Not just a conviction, but blueprints for better. Now, let us look at the lessons learned from this case. Lesson number one: power abusers demand scrutiny. Vet the trusted: pastors, bosses, teachers, the police, and political leaders. Mojadigo weaponized his cloth. Churches must train on ethics, report suspicions early. Communities should question unchecked authority, mandate background checks for youth facing roles, and amplify survivor voices in faith spaces. No more forgive quietly sermons. Lesson number two: victim support isn't optional, it's the lifeline. That withdrawn charge, the mom and complainant bailed due to pressure, intimidation, and lack of support. Scale up GBV desks at police stations. Include immediate trauma care, free therapy, and family mediators like the Botswana Gender Based Violence Prevention Center's teletherapy. Expand it nationwide. Let us ensure that there are no dropout cases and ensure healing is prioritized over cooperation. Lesson number three: bail and evidence rules need teeth. Close the gaps. Mojadigo's violations led to remand, but early bail let him tamper with his case. For child cases, enforce no bail defaults. Boost forensics for faster DNA tests. Dedicated GBV courts to clear backlogs. Lesson four: cultural chains must break. Educate from the cradle. Stigma silences. 58% of victims often know predators. And finally, lesson number five: convictions like Mojadigo's are wins, but systemic reforms seal them. 20 years sends a message: no immunity for predators. Push the national GBV strategy. Let's have swift trials, minimum sentences with deterrence. I want to wrap up by asking gentlemen, especially influencers and ChatGPT lawyers, just a few questions. Why are you seemingly sympathizing with the criminal? Why are you finding excuses for the rapist? Why are you blaming the victim? Did you see from the court papers that the victim said stop at some point? Did you? Why are you worried that this could happen to you? Are you planning to rape someone, or are you already doing it? If the victim was your wife, your girlfriend, or your child, would you still be saying it could happen to you? Until next time, stay fierce, stay vocal, stay woke, and stay safe.